What's up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome into the Sactown Sports Kings recap. My name is Chris Watkins, joining you live from Golden One Center after the Sacramento Kings take down the San Antonio Spurs in the first game back after the All-Star break by a score of 127-122. It wasn't quite how I think a lot of people would have wanted to be drawn up. I think, ideally this game goes a whole lot smoother and maybe the Kings don't have to even play anybody in the fourth quarter, but that's just not Kings basketball, and that has not been how this team has operated all year long. So why should we expect them to start now? It's a bit concerning for the future, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. The important thing is the Kings did get the result tonight. We don't have to, be doom and gloom about, oh no, are they about to, as they're about to go on a really tough stretch of games here. Don't have to worry about going on a losing streak or how badly this will affect their playoff standings. They got the win at the end of the day. That's what's important. It didn't look the prettiest. They definitely got some things that they're going to need to clean up, but I thought there was a lot of positives today. I thought overall the defensive effort was good and positive. Of course, it wasn't a full 48-minute effort on the defensive end, but there were moments. There were definitely moments, and I thought the ball pressure tonight was especially really, really promising just to kind of see the Kings look really active for a majority of the game. Davion, of course, did his thing, but Malik Monk also was a really good point of attack defender tonight. We know that the defensive end of the ball is really this team's shortcoming, and that's the thing that's going to elevate them to a different level in the playoffs. If they can become a legitimate defensive team, or at least not a bad defensive team by playoff time, I think that there's a chance that this team can make some noise. But again, we have plenty of time to talk about that stuff later. Tonight, Domantas Sabonis, first off, four players finish off with 20 or more. Malik had 21. Sabonis had 22, I believe, is what he finished with. And then Kevin Huerter as well had 21. Yeah, Sabonis had 22. And De'Aaron Fox with 28 big ones, including none bigger than the last shot of the game where, not of the game completely, but De'Aaron down the stretch there, for him to get the steal, block, whatever you want to call it, at the end, and then take the ball down and hit that mid-range jump shot. That is, I guess that's vintage De'Aaron Fox at this point. That's the guy, that was the clutch player of the year that we saw right there. And that was truly a clutch player of the year type performance and effort, specifically just in that last minute. Like that was winning time. That was the point in the game in which it was being decided. I think the Kings fell down as much as 5 down the stretch there in the fourth quarter. And you really saw, or I think it was 4. It was 4 points that they fell behind. I think it was 120 to 116 or something like that. You saw Malik Monk take a runner, and then they really just chipped away at it. I think that's when Keegan Murray got his lob, and we'll talk about Keegan and his dunks later. It was a great night. I thought it was a really, really good night just to kind of have some highlights out there. Domantas Sabonis, oh my God, this dude is ridiculous. Thank goodness he played today. He was doubtful as of this morning with an illness coming back from his All-Star break festivities. He was questionable by game time. We heard he went through shoot around, went through both shoot around this morning and then shoot around before the game. Said he felt fine. Said he was willing to give it a go. And what did he do? How healthy was he? He finishes off with a triple-double, 22 points, 11 boards, 11 assists, and that's nothing new. We've seen him do this all year long, and you had to know against Victor Wembanyama, we saw him do what our guys at 95.7 said Sabonis is the only thing he can do. He dropped down that shoulder, he put it into Wemby's chest, and he said, look, you're a phenom, you're going to have your day, but you cannot stand in front of me. And he knew it. He exposed Wemby a couple different times, had a nasty Euro step on him that left Wemby completely in the dust. But it also does need to be acknowledged, y'all, Victor Wembanyama is going to be a problem in this league. Like, not not like, oh, he's going to be a pest or anything. He had a bad game today. He did. He had a really bad game today. Didn't love his shot selection, which I think has been a thing all year long, but 8 of 21, 1 of 6 from 3. He was just chucking it. He was taking step backs, not very timely shots, not the best shot in the possession. Still finished with 19 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, and here's the big one for me: steals and blocks. He had 5 steals and 5 blocks. He was just he's crazy impactful, especially around the rim. You see guys think twice when they're going to shoot it around him. You see guys who should think twice when they shoot it around him. I mean, Sabonis had so many opportunities, or not so many, but he had a handful of opportunities where it was like, that's a bucket. Like, I've seen Sabonis do those moves all season long, and it's resulted in him getting an easy layup. But against Victor Wembanyama, he's just able to cover so much ground. It's you almost have to like recalibrate how your mind views spacing, because he can just eat it up so quickly, and there's not really anybody else in the NBA who does, or who can do what Victor does, and that's what makes him special. That's the thing that's going to make him just a matchup nightmare in the future. We'll let our future selves worry about that, but for right now, Domantas Sabonis can definitely get the better end of that matchup, and that's honestly going to be huge for the Kings. I think down the stretch here is Sabonis. We know he shows up every single night, but he's got to dominate his matchups when he can, because you see how if you would have let Wemby get into a flow on a night like tonight, Kings lose, and it's really that simple. So I think the fact that they really made it difficult for Wemby tonight is a really, really big one. Now let's talk a little bit about, I think, what we all would have said is the 2 biggest talking points or points of frustration with this Kings team so far this season. Let's start off with free throws on our side. Kings finished 10 of 14. There wasn't many free throws in this game in general. 30 total free throws by these teams combined. Both teams didn't shoot well. San Antonio shot 68%. The Kings shot 71. They missed 4 free throws, 10 of 14. Who was it? De'Aaron missed 2. I believe those were back-to-back. HB missed 1, and Trey Lyles missed 1. It's a problem. Like, again, De'Aaron too, he's got to make his. There's tons of guys in this league who get 10 free throws a night, 12 free throws a night, and a lot of them hit 11, 12 at the, like, a bad game for a lot of those guys who get that many fouls is hitting 10. And if De'Aaron's ever going to get to that point, he's got to be able to make them, man. He's got to be able to execute better at the free throw line than what he's been doing, because the Kings need it. It just, as a team, they need to be better at the free throw line, but it can improve De'Aaron's game so much. Like, I know he's not hitting how he would want to hit from the 3. What did he shoot? 2 of 6 tonight, not terrible. But that's how he could have stayed up at 30 points per game, is by getting to the line and executing at the line. And it's still a bit of an Achilles heel for him. I'm pretty surprised that down the stretch, literally that the very last sequence where I think they ended up fouling Malik Monk, and Monk kind of quieted the crowd. I was shocked San Antonio didn't foul him. I would have hacked De'Aaron immediately in that moment and made him make those free throws. I think at some point this season it's going to happen. I think the book is going to be out that the Kings have really bad free throw shooters, and they just have kind of a tendency to miss at the wrong time. So we'll see how that develops, because I'd be very surprised if some team out there, I'm honestly shocked again that Greg Popovich wasn't the one who did it. But I would be surprised if some team out there doesn't employ a hack a king strategy at some point down the stretch here. Man, on the Spurs side as well, I did shout out Wemby, of course, but Devin Vassell, oh my goodness. A couple of those threes were crazy lucky. Like, he's leaning forward. What did he even finish from 3? 3 of 4 from 3, so he really wasn't spraying it that much, but it felt like every 3 he took was just a prayer. And shout out to him. He had a great night, 32 points. He's had a really good season. I think he's been their second best player this year. Keldon Johnson's been pretty disappointing overall. Yeah, he's coming off the bench now, which I don't know if that has to do with injury or something because they're starting Julian Champagny, who for a second there I thought was going to have another Kings killer night. But I thought Devin Vassell was really, really good tonight. I've liked how he's developed in his in his time with the Spurs. And it wouldn't surprise me if he's kind of either going to be the next one up for the Spurs or a guy that they might look to ship off. Because you could probably get something pretty decent for him. I know the Spurs are obviously trying to lean young, but if they wanted to ship that guy off, I think any contending team would really take a guy like Devin Vassell on their lineup. Let's see here. Anything else sticking out? Oh, how about Jeremy Sohan's one-handed free throw? Shout out my guy Alan. Said maybe the Kings should try and do that because you know how down bad you got to be, like how in your head mentally you have to be to shoot one-handed free throws to get to the point where you're an NBA player and you're like, what if I tried one hand? Well, like, hear me out here. I know, like, I think we're at that point. I think we're at the point where it can't be worse, right? Like, you see me shooting with one hand, it goes in about 55-60% of the time, and if that's better than what you shoot with two hands, then who am I to tell you no? So that was definitely a funny moment. Let's talk about Zach Collins, who I hope Zach Collins' family was not watching tonight, because if they are, man, I'm sorry. The Kings didn't mean to do it to him. I don't think it was personal, but Zach Collins got banged on like 5 times tonight. Sabonis specifically really got him with that one hand on the pick and roll, that Statue of Liberty dunk off the pick and roll that De'Aaron hit him. But it was immediately after Keegan had just thrown down a nasty two-handed dunk all over Zach Collins' head. It was filthy. I can't imagine what that's going to look like in film. I'm sure on the King side, they're going to be hyped up because he just stood there, man. There was nothing he could do. Shout out Keegan, who Monty McNair famously said when he drafted Keegan, he dunks everything. And we haven't really seen that from Keegan. We see that he's kind of starting to try and develop that more in his NBA game, but Keegan just went up for that like fearlessly, and you could tell that was going to be what he was going to try and do in that moment. And that's the kind of stuff that's going to be a part of Keegan's development. Because hold on, wait, I think I have my soundboard hooked up here. As we know, Keegan Murray,
De'Aaron Fox, who singled him out, he told him, "You're the worst finisher in the league."
Worst finisher in the league, according to De'Aaron Fox. That is my favorite sound ever. So that's big for Keegan. Like, his ability to dunk the ball is huge because he's not a good finisher. He's not very crafty. He doesn't have a lot of body control in the air. So he's got to be able to throw the ball down on a lot of these guys, and a big part of that is going to be his body. He's going to have to develop and look like, frankly, I'm hoping by year 3 or 4, he's looking like Kawhi Leonard, where he's just ripped. And I think the physical strength for Keegan is going to be huge for his development around the rim. And he played pretty good defense today as well. I don't think he had any really big standout plays. There was that really weird. Technically, he didn't get the block, but he hit the ball out of bounds on Davion's. I'm calling it a strip. I don't know what the ref saw on the replay. They looked at it. They said there was incidental leg or not. They pretty much said the leg-to-leg contact was too excessive, and that was the foul on Davion. I didn't see it. To me, it looked like, I think it was Blake Wesley, just dipped his shoulder into Davion, and Davion just swiped at the ball. I thought Davion got all ball, so I don't even know. I don't think they even said Davion made. I think they said something about his swipe motion, but I don't think they ever said the contact was there. So Keegan got a block there is the bigger point of what I'm saying. That was really the biggest defensive standout for Keegan, but it was good to see him hit a couple shots. Ended up with 16 points, which is, it's good. That should be like baseline what Keegan's getting on most nights. And him hitting, did he hit 2 or 3 threes? Ended up hitting 2 threes tonight. That's like the baseline of what we need from Keegan is 2 threes some good defensive moments, and at least 16 points. I feel like if you can get that consistently from Keegan the rest of this year, that's where you want him to be in his development. Is just, okay, this seems not easy for him, but it feels like he can walk out onto any gym any night and be able to get you double figures and probably get you hopefully a couple trips to the line. That would definitely be really useful. Frankie was asking me before. He was like, because for anyone who didn't listen to the show, Styles and Watkins 10 to 2 every day, Monday through Friday, right here on Sactown Sports 1140. Me and Alan were kind of going back and forth with the Max Kellerman example. Aliens are coming down, laser beam down to earth. Kings need to hit a free throw. Who are you putting at the line? And my answer was Malik. Alan's answer was Harrison Barnes. And Frankie asked me today, he said, man, isn't it kind of crazy / wouldn't it be great if the answer was just Keegan Murray? Like, shouldn't it realistically be Keegan Murray? He's such a good shooter. He's a really calm, composed guy who doesn't let his emotions ever get too high or too low. Wouldn't he be the ice in his veins ideal person you would want to put at the free throw line? And the answer is yes, ideally for sure. But the problem is he doesn't get to the line enough to really say he's a good free throw shooter and really ever get into a rhythm. Like if he were taking 4 free throws a night, at least it's something he's expecting to do every single game. He's used to the repetition, the rhythm of taking those free throws. Of course, just kind of all the emotions of settling yourself down. But I mean, Keegan probably goes to the line every other game, every 3 games really. And so, in that kind of gotta have it free throw situation, he just I just think that might be too big of a, of course, with the fate of the universe on the line, that'd probably be too big of a moment for anybody. But I just feel like you would like Keegan to get a little bit more reps of comfort to get to the point where you feel like before you feel like he can start hitting those down in the biggest situations. Sabonis tonight too, 11 of 15, crazy efficient. Wow. Yeah. How many turnovers? He ended up with 2 turnovers. Shout out. I don't see Crown Royal in here. I know that dude's always complaining about not talking about turnovers. Kings had 10 turnovers tonight. Not great. De'Aaron had 3. Sabonis had 2, which I guess is good for Sabonis. Keegan had 2, which I'm going to have to start paying more attention to how Keegan Murray gets his turnovers, because I don't understand that. I feel like this is the second or third time where I've looked at Keegan and said 2 turnovers and been like, I don't even remember him dribbling. So I don't know if it's him kind of getting the ball and just getting it slapped out of his hands, if it's, a couple entry passes that are just going over people's heads. I'm seriously going to have to just look at the tape on what Keegan's turnovers has been, because I really don't remember any of them. As there's a moth that just flew right in my face. It's a big number tonight, 36 assists for San Antonio. I thought that was really, really good, especially. So this team has kind of, if you've listened to much San Antonio Spurs analysis this season, a lot of it has been how, of course, Wemby's great, but the biggest problem with them, especially in the first half of the season, was more so when they were running our guy Jeremy Sohan at point guard. They just didn't have anybody who was out there to serve up Wemby. And that's what Trey Jones is. Trey had 9 assists tonight. I've loved Trey and Tyus Jones for a really long time. They're just really solid point guards who know exactly that, like how to set guys up. They're not really super selfish. They're not really looking for them. He had 10 points tonight, 5 of 8 from the field, only took 1 3, but had 9 assists. And I would love to know how many of those went to Wemby, because that's what this franchise should care about is getting Wemby fed and getting him real reps, like not these terrible step back threes in which, that's going to be cut out of his game by the time these guys are really trying to win. Like, get Wemby in as many pick and roll situations as possible. I don't think you ideally want to get him in post up, but maybe you can get his back to the basket in the mid-range situation. I just feel like I would love to be a fly on the wall for Pop's meetings with his assistant coaches, because I just can't believe that the man who was running the offense that the Spurs ran when they were, playing against the Miami Heat in the finals all those years ago, I just can't imagine that he enjoys watching this style of basketball and watching Victor specifically make the decisions that he makes, because it's just not good basketball sometimes. And I know the talent around him's terrible, and he knows better than everybody that that franchise just really wants him to be great, and they're going to allow him to really do what he wants. But at the same time, you got to wonder, and it was a question that was asked with this Kings franchise when they were going through their rough years. Is he picking up bad habits from playing on a team that is this bad? Um, I I think that it's dangerous. Like, it's dangerous to have him in this bad of a basketball situation, because you saw him dribble it down the court a couple times. Of course, again, in a couple of years, that's definitely something that they're going to want him to do. But right now, I just don't think he's ready for it. I guess the counter is you're losing games now, and so you might as well get those reps in while, like, the result doesn't really matter. I get that, but it feels like they're just like letting him out there and not really putting any restrictions on him, instead of kind of not necessarily spoon feeding him, but saying, okay, you want to do that, show us you can do that, and then we'll allow you to do more. It feels like they're just kind of letting him do everything, and then they're going to try and take away and like trim the fat off of his game, which, again, yeah, we'll see how it ends up turning out. I just feel like that's not personally how I would want Wemby to be controlled. It's probably a whole lot more entertaining to see him just kind of let it fly and be super creative. But just in the long run, I don't know. I just don't know how good it is for his career development. Hilarious. I don't want to see those nasty dunks after the game is over from Malik if he's not going to be in the dunk contest. Um, Malik did have an opportunity tonight to shut the gym down. I thought he was going to. He had that strip. I can't remember when exactly it was, but he had a breakaway. And he just decided to, I think he kind of double clutched it on the side, but didn't really freak it at all. I kind of thought he was going to do a 180 or maybe even a 360. Didn't do anything, kept it simple. But maybe next year we'll get Malik in the dunk contest. I don't think so. But yeah, definitely noticed today. I was like, here's an opportunity to definitely get an easy highlight. I think he had somebody kind of trailing him, so maybe that kind of made him shy away from throwing it down. But yeah, I definitely thought that would have been a dope highlight to have, because he would have thrown it down. He definitely had an opportunity to do something crazy, but we got our highlights nonetheless. That's a bonus. Dunk was, you know what's interesting? I'm trying to think which one was the bigger highlight. And Kevin Huerter had a nasty pass too. I tweeted it out. He had a nasty De'Aaron kind of cut back door. I don't even know if he cut back door or if it was just a cut in general. But Kevin Huerter just literally flung it, and it was a perfect bounce pass right to De'Aaron. I thought the team looked really connected. Kevin Huerter, to me, I forgot to do the 3 stars in the banner, but Huerter tonight looked great. This is definitely one of the more promising performances from Kevin Huerter this season. Just the way he got his buckets tonight was calm. Like, he was a bucket getter tonight. It was not just shooter. It was not spotting up. It was not he was hot and that was it. He definitely started off hot from the perimeter. I think he hit 3 threes in that first quarter. But you saw him bring the ball into the paint. You saw him again have that really nice pass to De'Aaron Fox. It was a little bit of everything from Kevin tonight. And after the rough first 2/3 of the season he had, I thought it was really good to just kind of see him play calm and not really feel like he was pressing. Like, he just felt really confident in his game. And sometimes just that little break, stepping away from the game and just kind of looking at yourself, and maybe he watched some film, maybe he played some video games. I don't know. But sometimes, just taking a step back can really improve just how you're approaching the game. That could have been something wrong with Kevin, is just, he was maybe hunting threes too much and not letting the game come to him and trying to force things. Because again, I just feel like I haven't seen Kevin Huerter, dribble into the paint, take a second, and then fade away and hit his shot. And he did that, I think, 1 or 2 times today, and he had 21. I mean, it was a performance that we would have seen from Kevin Huerter last year. And we just need more of that. We need a lot more of that down the stretch here, as we can now talk about the games coming up. The Kings have the Clippers on the road on Sunday. They then come home and play the Miami Heat, only to hit the road again and play the Denver Nuggets again, and then play the Minnesota Timberwolves on the road. Tough 4-game stretch here coming up. It's why it was so important for them to win today. They really couldn't afford to get off on the wrong foot and then potentially let things avalanche and slide down. So good that they got the win today. But yeah, the real business starts now. And funny enough, the second game after the All-Star break last year was that Clipper incredible double overtime 176-175 game. So wouldn't it be great if the Kings and Clippers can try and replicate a piece of that and give us, like, hopefully the best game of the season, best performance of the season. And hopefully, that game really was a launch pad for the Kings to kind of ramp up the intensity last year. And I think it would be nice if the Kings could kind of use this game as a launch point again to kind of take off, because it's going to get tough and they have to play their best basketball. And frankly, if they play like they played tonight, the Spurs are the worst team in the Western Conference by record. And if you're beating them by 5, it's going to be really hard to beat a team like the Clippers that has been rolling. It's going to be tough to beat them if you're going to allow them to play as well as the Spurs did today. So, every opponent is different. Every game is different. Just because the Kings win a 5-point game against the Spurs doesn't mean they can't win by 15 against the Clippers. But man, it's a little scary. Again, you just want the Kings at some point to be able to make things a little bit easier on themselves. It feels like every other team in the NBA, or every other good team in the NBA, would be able to kind of put these games away and make it easy. But that's just not the Kings way. So I'm not going to go crazy. I said earlier today, just get the win. I don't really care how it gets done. I don't care if it looks pretty. I understand, ideally you want things to look a certain way, but at this point in the season, it's just about results. And you just can't argue with results. A win or loss, moral victories aren't going to be a thing down the stretch. So it cuts both ways. You just gotta, it's a results-based business at this point in the season, and every single game counts. Every single game. I don't know how the standings got affected after tonight. Let me see if anybody posted the standings here. Where is ESPN? Because I don't think Dallas played today, but okay, I can't pull it up. But yeah, it's a really, really tight race in the Western Conference. Every single game's going to matter. The Kings don't have a direct matchup that's going to affect their playoff standings, like in terms of they don't play essentially either Phoenix, the Pelicans, or Dallas for some time. But those games are going to be incredibly important, especially they have a back-to-back, I believe, in March against the Mavericks. Got to take at least one of those. So, Dallas did play the Suns today. That's right. Thank you very much, Maple. Maple noob. Love that. Yes, I forgot that Dallas did play. When I saw, I believe it was at halftime, that game was going on. I believe Dallas was killing them. It was a pretty sizable lead for Dallas. Let me see how that game ended up playing out. That game. Oh, okay. So I'm seeing the Clippers did lose today. Dallas did win by 10. So that's, and here's the thing. I don't even know if that's good or bad for the Kings, because that now ties Dallas and Phoenix at the same record. And here, as I pull up the standings here, the Kings are still in 8th. They are a half game back of the 6 and 7 seed, which is good. I believe they have the tiebreaker over Dallas. So if the Kings were to win their next game, they should be in the 6th seed, I believe, and then they will be only a game behind the Pelicans. And we know how that Kings-Pelicans series has gone so far this year. The Pelicans definitely 100% own that tiebreaker, and there's nothing the Kings can do about that one. So the Kings are just going to have to be straight up better than the Pelicans the rest of the way. But great that the Kings pick up the win. They now move to 16-9 at home this year, which is phenomenal. They didn't really take advantage of home court last year, so good to see them now 7 games above 500 at home. They have 16 of 27 games remaining are here at Golden One Center. It's going to be imperative, like huge, for the Kings to win most of these home games. A lot of them are actually pretty easy. A lot of their harder opponents are on the road, which I guess in a way is kind of a bad thing, because you would like to have some advantage against those tougher opponents. But the good news is, hopefully that means the Kings can take advantage of those home games and and climb up the standings that way. Yeah, just here in the next couple home games, you have home against Miami. That'll be on Monday. You have home the following Monday against the Chicago Bulls. Then you play the Spurs team again on March 7th. This is a very, very large homestand. From March 7th through March 18th, the Kings are home. Play the Spurs, Rockets, Bucks, Lakers, Knicks, and Grizzlies all at home on a 6-game home trip. That's going to be a huge one when it comes to the standings. If the Kings can go on a nice little win streak, oh my gosh, don't look then. They might be able to slip into the top 4 seed. I haven't really thought of it as a possibility, but I can't talk about the possibility of the Kings losing this one and then going on a potential 5-game losing streak and not mention the fact that, hey, after this little 4-game stretch here of Clippers, Miami, Denver, and Minnesota, it does get a bit easier. And if they can pick up some wins there, that's how they can maybe possibly inch into that top 4 conversation. And then we'll see. Then we will see. And yes, thank you very much. 16 home games and 11 road games. That's good. I mean, that's definitely good for the Kings just in general. But yeah, they're going to have to take advantage. And tonight doesn't give me much more faith in this team, really, because they didn't really take care of the Spurs in the way that they should have. But overall, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not gonna. I don't think anybody should panic about it. It's not a great sign. It's not something we should celebrate. But at the end of the day, it's fine. Yes, Edward, absolutely. I didn't think their defense was horrible today. I will not say horrible. They definitely had some really bad moments, really bad stretches of just, I don't want to call it laziness. It's just they kind of just lose focus. And I don't know, some could call that laziness, but they just have a problem with really rotations. Like their on-ball defense is it's getting a lot better. Just general ball pressure is getting better, but where they kind of get screwed is once the ball starts flying around, which again, you see San Antonio getting 36 assists tonight. That's the ball flying around, forcing the Kings to communicate, forcing them to really be on a string. Not continuing to guard the 3 well as well. I forgot to mention that as I was talking about the free throws earlier. The second thing that we all wanted to see the second half of the season is better 3-point defense. San Antonio Spurs tonight, 44% from 3. Let me look it up here. What do the Spurs shoot on the season from 3? Let me guess. So they shot 44% from 3. They're the Spurs. They really don't have any 3-point shooters. I think they don't have Doug McDermott anymore. So yeah, if I had to guess, the Spurs are probably on the season 36% from three, which has got to be one of the worst marks. And the Spurs this season are, in fact, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I wish I was making this up. I just looked it up right now. And I do not recommend anybody else looks it up except for the sake of just confirming what I just saw. The San Antonio Spurs are the worst 3-point shooting team in the NBA. They shoot 34% on this season, which is last by a full percentage point from 29th. Spurs shoot 34% from three. The Grizzlies are 29th and shoot 35%. Everybody else is around, the next 10 or so the next 10 spots are separated by a single percentage point. So the gap from the Spurs being the worst 3-point shooting team to the next team is extreme. The San Antonio Spurs came in tonight and shot 44% from three. There is something fundamentally wrong with that. That just cannot happen. Because again, if you that makes me feel like the Clippers are going to shoot 47+%. It wouldn't be crazy to see 50. And that's crazy. That's insane. You got to be better. You have to be better at it. I don't care if you have to sell out completely. I don't care. I care a little bit if you end up giving away a significant amount of more shots at the rim, because that was the real problem with this team last year too. But 44% from three from the worst 3-point shooting team in the league, when you have done this all season long, you have to be able to fix that. HB only played 17 minutes tonight. I only say that after saying that last part, because I would think the answer would be having as much length out there as possible. You saw Chris Duarte enter. Chris Duarte actually ended up playing more minutes than Harrison Barnes. Duarte played just under 20 minutes. HB played just over 17. So, I don't think HB's the solution there. HB's been playing all season long, and the Kings have allowed threes all year. But to me, that's how you fix the problem long term, is you get more length, you get more guys out there who can disrupt guys by, putting a hand out there and actually contesting the shots. But it's concerning. It's definitely a problem at this point. And they just better hope that they don't play one of the better 3-point shooting teams in the playoffs, which, by the way, OKC, number 1 in the league, 39.5%. LA Clippers, number 2 at 39.4%. Minnesota Timberwolves, 39.3%. So, and the Suns are 7th, the Pelicans are 8th, and the Mavericks are 10th. So pretty much every team that is in the playoff conversation in the West is one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the NBA. So that does not bode well for this Kings team. And man, hopefully they can figure out something, because this is going to be a problem for this team. It's going to be the 3-point shooting defense, and the 3-point shooting defense and the free throws just have to be fixed. It just has to, if this team wants to win in the playoffs. Going to do the 3 stars of the night and then head on out of here. First star of the night, I'm really conflicted between Kevin Huerter and Malik Monk. I really do just kind of want to split it. Maybe I will. I don't think I've done that all season, so I'm going to do it now. I'm going to pull this card while I can. I'm going to say just the shooting guards in general played great tonight. They combined for 16 of 29, which is excellent. Kevin Huerter was 5 of 8 from 3. Malik had 21 points. Really didn't have much assists tonight. Had 2 steals, 2 blocks, though. He was a +8 in the plus minus. Kevin Huerter was +15, which was a team high. I thought those two were phenomenal tonight, and I really can't pick which one was more vital, because it felt like Kevin Huerter was huge in that first half. I talked a lot about how he wasn't forcing it and really just kind of let his game come to him. Malik Monk was great in the second half. He had, let me see how many points he had just in the second half. So he came into halftime with 7 points and ends up with 21, 14 in the second half from Malik. Great game, 8 points in the fourth quarter. I really can't say anything negatively about how Malik played. I thought his defense was good. I mentioned his on-ball pressure. I thought this was just one of the better performances that we've seen from these two combined this year. So definitely want to shout those guys out. I'm going to give my 2 stars. My second star, who do I want to give it? I'm going to give it to Domantas Sabonis. Triple-double, 22 points, 11 boards, 11 assists, dominated Wemby, had a great highlight, and he was sick. He was sick today and played that way. So I'm definitely just finding new ways to be impressed with Sabonis, doing this while sick, playing against a 7'5" freak, and really making it hard for him. Like, Sabonis is a guy who's not supposed to be very athletically sound, and for him to be able to stay in front of a guy like Wemby, that's crazy. Don't do that. Don't make Dave feel good. Stop it. No one's doing that. Have you heard people do it? I have not heard people do it. Dave's really trying to make it into a thing, and I don't think anybody understands to do it.
Every time he scores,
I think it would be cool. I really do think it would be cool.
It's dope.
Like, it would be actually really good. It'd like add to the Keegan Murray thing. Like, if everyone kind of had their thing, I think it would be pretty cool. It's just, it doesn't seem like anybody's actually understanding that it's happening.
All I'm saying is just add Victor Wembanyama to the list of NBA centers that everybody loves that Sabonis just keeps cooking.
Bro.
That's all I'm saying.
Add him to the list. Chet Holmgren. Okay. Yeah. Wemby. It's these skinny dudes. It's the skinny guys, man. He throws that shoulder into him, and they got no answer for it. My third star of the night is going to be De'Aaron Fox. Yes, absolutely. Shout out Matt George. Shout out Matt George. Matt's my guy. Me and Matt had a good time in Vegas for the Super Bowl. We had dinner. I can't remember what we ended up eating, but where did we go? I think it was like Wolfgang Puck's or something. It was so random. Matt's kind of very particular, I learned, about his food. Not that he's like, I don't want to say picky, but just, yeah, it was just not a hassle, but we had to find a place that had things that Matt would want. But it was great. Love Matt. Matt's been my guy for a really, really long time. Shout out anybody. I was about to shout out if anybody was listening to our high school football show, man. If anybody out there heard what was it, a Friday night football show, I think is what it was called. Me, Matt George, and our guy Charles T. Hamilton used to lock it down on Friday from, I don't think it was 10 to midnight. It's like, was it 11 to midnight? Like, it was so weird. Like, it was a really weird time. It was Friday nights. It might have been from like 8 to 10 or something. I can't remember. But yeah, if Manny, I mean, I was trying to say it without saying it. Like, he's kind of like over my shoulder. I didn't want to roast him, but yeah, I mean, he kind of is. He kind of was. It was kind of crazy. Like, my guy did want Chinese food. I was like, Matt, what do you mean you don't like Chinese food? How is that even possible? But Matt's my guy. I love Matt. Please just send Matt nothing but love. Matt is one of the hardest working guys in this industry. Not as hardworking as his coworker Kevin John, though. Kevin will let everybody know Kevin is he's the workhorse of that partnership. So shout out Matt, but definitely shout out Kevin. Where was I? What was I even doing? De'Aaron Fox. That's right. De'Aaron Fox played good today. That's my analysis. 12 of 18 from the field. Just like to me, I probably wouldn't have even given him this 3 stars. I probably would have given it to Sabonis, but that strip down the stretch that's going to stick out to me. Like that was, they say clutch is one of those things that can't be taught, and you either have it or you don't. And at the same token, I kind of wondered if clutch is one of those things that's kind of like a muscle where you got to keep at it or else it gets weaker. And, it's good to know that clutch is just clutch. And I guess I should have known because De'Aaron's kind of shown us throughout his career, even when the Kings weren't winning a lot of games, so he didn't have a lot of clutch moments or opportunities for clutch moments, and still would come come up big in those moments, even though they were few and far between. It's good to see that he can pick it up at any point. Like it wasn't that De'Aaron wasn't playing well in this game before that moment. It was just he didn't really have a moment. Again, Sabonis had the big dunk. Keegan had the big dunk. Kevin had a couple threes. Malik just was great in the second half. De'Aaron just maybe I didn't see it. I wasn't looking for it. Maybe I was looking other places, but I didn't feel like De'Aaron had put his stamp down on this game. And that moment was the biggest one. And really, I mean, that's what this season is really about too. The rest of this season is going to be about De'Aaron. At the end of the day, this team's going to win and lose basketball games based off of your performance. So it was good to see De'Aaron in that moment still say, I'm going to win this thing. I'm going to win this thing. And too many times I feel like there's been situations where they've played teams like Charlotte or like Detroit or like Portland where they should just win because De'Aaron Fox is out there and he's the best player on the floor. And I feel like not enough times De'Aaron has those kind of big games. And, tonight, pretty light 28, pretty quiet 28, really efficient 28. But more nights like this, I want to see De'Aaron just, whether it be in moments or for the entire stretch of a game, just say, I'm the best dude out here. I'm going to look like it. And we're going to win this game probably just because my team has me and they don't. Okay, man, it's been a while. It has been a while since I feel like we've done one of these. I know with like Vegas and all that stuff, me going to Vegas for Super Bowl weekend kind of took some time off. Glad to be back. Excited for you guys to see my home setup for everyone who didn't see it the other day when we were doing our thing on Bleacher Report. Got a brand new setup. So hoping you guys like that. And I'm actually kind of excited for a road game to broadcast from home and have that kind of lockdown space. So excited for Sunday where this team takes on the Clippers. It's going to be a tough one. I'm really hoping that game is exciting as the matchup was last year. And hope you guys have a fantastic night. I will see you tomorrow. Tune in Styles and Watkins 10 to 2 p.m. Right here on Sactown Sports 1140. If you can't make it then, you can watch it on YouTube later on. And if you can't do that at all, I'll see you Sunday right back here after the Kings take on the Clippers. And that tip-off, just so everyone is aware and so I'm aware right now, is at 6:30. So that'll be a 6:30 tip on Sunday, which means it's going to be a late night for me. So can't wait. Hope to see you all then. Have a fantastic night. I forgot. I got to go look at that beam out there. It's been a while since I've seen a beam. Hope you guys go outside and enjoy it too. Have a fantastic one.